this is Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting. Thank you for joining me again today. Hope you're having a wonderful time. Today my card is inspired by this little card that I received from Karen Kilner, who blogs under the KK Card Craft name. And she sent me this card as part of a card swap, and I just loved what she'd done. This is using the Just Because stamp set, which is one of our host sets at the moment in the, is it the annual catalogue or the spring catalogue? Spring catalogue, I think. The spring and summer catalogue. And you can get this stamp set if you spend £150 and gain some rewards. You can use your rewards to get this stamp set. So effectively it's free because the stamping rewards accumulate. And I love it. I love that Happy Mother's Day. It's really useful. I love the thank you, thinking of you, because of you, and really lovely little images here. I really like it. But I was really taken with how Karen had paper pieced her card. So she printed it onto the gingham papers and then cut them out and stuck them on, and so I wanted to have a go at doing that as well. So I'm going to show you how I made mine. This is the card that I made. It was for a colour challenge, which was to use So Saffron, Granny Apple Green and Merry Mossy Green. They're not colours that I would normally put together, but I quite like how this came together. I was really pleased with it when I'd done it. I'm going to use slightly different colours today, but I'm going to show you how I made the card. So I'm going to start off with a card blank. That is my normal size card blank. So if you're in the UK, this is an A6 card blank. It's half a sheet of A4. It measures 21 centimetres by just under 15. It's about 14.8 centimetres to be half of an A4 sheet. And I've scored it to 10.5 centimetres. If you're working in inches in America or wherever, it is 8 1/4 inches by 6 inches, and you score at 4 1/8. That's our card blank in our thick Whisper White cardstock. And then I'm going to do the stamping first. I'm going to create this. So I'm going to take a panel of white card, and my panel measures 7.5 by 9.5 centimetres, or 3 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And I've mounted the stamp that we're going to be using on a block already. This is on an I block. Needed to be quite a big block, and I'm going to ink it with Memento ink. Now, because this stamp set is quite big, rather than pushing the stamp into the ink pad like this, I'm actually going to do it the other way round. I'm going to put my stamp pad on my stamp and make sure it's well inked, and then I'm going to try and get this centrally onto my piece of cardstock like so. It's very difficult when I'm filming because normally I can get my head right directly over the stamp, but I can't when I'm filming because the tripod is in the way. That's fine though, I'm quite pleased with that. Then I still need this stamp, so I'm going to put that to one side for a minute. I still need my stamp, and I'm going to come in with some mint macaron from the DSP stacks, the 6x6 stacks. So this is from the Subtles family of DSP, and I'm going to ink just the leaves, and I'm going to pop a piece of scrap paper underneath here because I don't want to stamp the whole stamp, and I don't want to get any marks on my grid paper. So I'm going to put that under there, and I'm just going to stamp the top of the pot and the leaves onto my paper like so. And I'm then going to do some more. I'm going to finish doing the stamping that we need to do, and then I'll do the paper piecing. So now I'm going to take a piece of Petal Pink from the same stack, the DSP stack, the Subtles, and I'm going to ink, and I'm going to have to ink the bottom, but I don't want the thinking of you particularly, so I'm going to do that. So, and then I'm going to put my piece of scrap paper back. This time I just need the pot like so. I'm going to get a bit of the leaves there as well, which is going to spoil. So what I'm going to do, so I don't spoil my well, actually what I could do is cut a strip. That's a good idea. I'll cut a strip of this paper because I don't want to ruin more of this paper than I need to, because I love it. I love all these the DSP stacks. They're so useful. Right, there we go. Now I can stamp and not waste quite so much. So put that there, and I'm actually going to do 2 of these, because what I did was I took the rim and cut that out and mounted that on some dimensionals. So like so. So I've got 2 pots there so that I've got a spare rim. There we are. Well, that's printed a bit better, so I'll use that one on top, I think, rather than. So there we go. Now, how do we do the paper piecing? So let's take our piece of card paper that we had this in and our image, and I am first of all going to cut this leaf out here. So I'm going to cut that one there. So you need some very, very sharp pointy scissors that can cut very accurately, and you're going to cut round exactly on that black line. You see what I'm doing? So very, very carefully. Might take you a little time to do this depending on how dexterous you are, but it's quite therapeutic doing this. I quite enjoy doing it. There we go. Then I'm going to snip it off there and come back in and do that last little bit, because it was too difficult to get into that corner. So I'm just going to come round there. Oh, that doesn't want to cut. What's going wrong there? Oh no, these scissors don't want to do that. Turn them over. Sometimes if you turn scissors over, they work. I have been using these scissors quite a lot, so they might be a bit blunt actually. Actually, let's swap them in for a different pair of scissors for the minute. There we go. Oh, that's better. I think my other ones just need sharpening. I've used them quite a lot. Right, and that is going to go onto there. Okay, so I have put, I'm just going to trim a little bit off, just got a bit of a rough edge there, bit of a perfectionist, I don't like them. I've put a little bit of Tombow on a plastic lid here, this is from a coffee jar, and got my tweezers, and I find that easier, the easiest way to get a little bit of glue onto the back of these, rather than trying to squeeze it straight from the Tombow. There we go, and piece that there. Now, I decided that you didn't need to see me piece all of these. You've got the idea. You need to cut them out and then piece them on there. So I have done one that I've completed earlier. So I have this one, and now I'm going to do the pot. So I'm going to cut this pot out here. So cut round it roughly first of all. And I'm going to cut around that line. And round here, and all of these DSP stacks will be retiring from the annual catalogue. There are some new ones in the catalogue, but they aren't the same designs as these, and I have particularly liked these designs, so I have stocked up because I think I will use these a lot in my personal stash. I have 2 craft stashes, one that I use for the business where I'm working as a Stampin' Up demo, and one that I have for my own personal, because I became a Stampin' Up demo because I love crafting and love making cards, and so I have lots of stuff that I can't bear to part with and that I like. There we go. So that's my pot. So I'm going to again put some thing there. Sorry if my voice sounds a bit ropey today. 2 nights ago we were at my daughter's final production of a musical at her performing arts college. She's going to be qualified very, very soon and be out in the big bad world looking for work in musical theatre, so I'm hoping that all works out for her. Right, okay, now I need to cut out the rim of the pot, so I'm going to go back to the other one and cut out the rim, and this just gives a little bit more dimension to the, there we go, like so. There we go. That's going to go on there, but it's going to be raised up on some dimensionals. So I've got my dimensionals here, and I'm actually going to be really mean and use half the mini ones because you don't need very much on here. So rather than using up whole ones, they last me ages dimensionals because I'm very, very mean with them. There we go. But why would you use more than you need? And then just use my tweezers to take off the backing, push down, kind of releases the edges, and then you can take them off. If you've got nails you can do this with your fingers, but I'm never very good. I use my tweezers for lots of things, as if you watch my videos you'll know. And that then plonks on there, so that's there. So now we've got all the paper piecing done. we can mount this panel. So this is going to be mounted on a coloured cardstock. I've chosen to use Grapefruit Grove because it's kind of picks out the petal pink but just a little bit brighter. And my panel measures 8 by 10 centimetres or 3 1/4 by 4 inches. So I'm going to take a little bit of Tombow, like so. And there we go, and mount that onto my panel. I'm then going to mount it onto my card blank, but before I do that I need a piece of patterned DSP that is going to go on the base. So if you look at this one, I've put some DSP at the base here, and now I've got to decide whether I'm going to use mint macaron and do it like that, or whether I'm going to use petal pink and do it like that. I think I like the petal pink actually. I'm going to use petal pink on here, I think. So I'm going to cut my DSP, rid of my stuff, bring my trimmer in, and my DSP is going to be 10.5 wide, but I'm going to cut it a little bit a bit wider than that because I want to be able to trim it off and get a really nice clean edge. So I'm going to cut it at 11, and then it needs to be 7.5 centimetres. So if you're working in inches, that is 3 inches by 4 1/8 inches. Right, there we go. That's my patterned paper. So that is going to go at the base of my cardstock here. So I'm going to put some Tombow on here now, like so. There we go. So today we've got Storm Hannah coming towards us. I think the sky outside, we've had some beautiful sunny weather the last few days, but actually the outside at the minute there are big dark clouds massing. So I think, and I'm driving to Norfolk to see my parents tomorrow, so I think I'm going to be driving through rain and wind, which won't make for a pleasant journey actually. There we go. Maybe it will. I'm not leaving till lunchtime, so maybe it will have passed by then. So put it on there, and then you've got a bit of an overlap. So take your scissors, I'm going to use my big scissors here, and trim off the excess by leaning the blades of the scissors against the cardstock, and then you get a really nice flush edge and looks really professional. So that goes there, and then this is going to mount on here. Oh, I'm quite liking this colour scheme. So again, we need Tombow, good old Tombow. I think Tombow is one of the things that's stuck in customs at the minute. I don't know if they've got some stock in the warehouse or whether it's run out, but liquids and powders have been stuck in customs for a few weeks because they weren't labelled properly. They discovered they were labelled wrongly, so Stampin' Up have had a real job getting stuff released from customs. There we go. So, and that is going to go on here. Try and centre it. I use my eye, but if you need to be, you could measure it if you're not quite so confident. There we go. Fingers are all sticky now. And then I'm just going to come in and I'm going to do some Grapefruit Grove flowers. I'm using the Bitty Blooms punches here. Sadly, they're now discontinued. They should have been in the catalogue until the 3rd of June, but they've sold out so quickly, and Stampin' Up aren't able to get any more in stock before the end of the catalogue. So these are out of stock, and I'm so sad. Love them, love them, love them. And I was really hoping that they were just going to stay in the new catalogue, but sadly they haven't. And so I'm going to position them on my plant. There we go. And I'm going to go back to my little glue dish of glue and just put a blob of glue on the back of each of them. You could use glue dots for this if you wanted to. But I've got Tombow handy, so I'm just going to carry on using the Tombow. There we go. And this one. my finger's sticky, it's sticking my finger. There we go. And then I'm just going to come in with another one of the punches and a tiny, tiny little bit of petal pink. And I'm just going to punch out 3 centres for my flowers. There we go. So I'm just going to put a dab of glue in the middle of each of these. And that's our card made, and I think it's really pretty. It's a technique I haven't used for ages, this paper piecing, so I was so pleased when Karen sent me the card because it reminded me what a great technique it is, and it works really well with this stamp set. Oh, where did that one go? Oh, disappeared. Stuck it on and then it disappeared. Okay, not a problem, we can do another one. Don't know how it'll turn up somewhere on the back, stuck on the back of somewhere, on the back of my hand. Wonder if there's still enough glue on there to glue it on. There we go, and that's my card. So if we get rid of all the shenanigans here and bring in my other card, can you see how what a different effect you can get by using different colour schemes? Really dramatic there. So I hope you like my card. And I hope you might have a go at paper piecing. It's really fun. And I'll be back soon. Don't forget, if you want to see more videos, if you don't want to miss any, just subscribe below and press the bell, and then you'll get a notification every time I post. And if you want to see the measurements and everything, it'll all be